Welcome to the 60s Beat with your host Jeremy Beck. Today we're going to talk about mods and the recent British invasion. By the way, who is your favorite Beatle? Paul, John, Ringo, or George? Sorry. This young man is showing us the latest style that is going on at Carnaby Street from London. This is the mods and the British invasion. So if you want to groove, listen to the latest Beatles song that is out right now on the charts. So let's get it. The beatlemania took the country by storm. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel where I talk about men's fashion and vintage fashion. So today we are in the last episode of History of Men's Fashion. Yes, I know guys, but the next episode will be next year because we're almost at the end of the year. I actually think like less than 2 weeks and the year is over. So this will be the last episode. And you can already tell which decade we're going to dive into from the setting today is different, as you can see with this psychedelic pattern. So let's get right into it. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a decade that was marked from the flower power, the British invasion, the mod style, and was a revolution. So today we're going to talk about the men's fashion in the 1960s. In today's episode of History of Men's Fashion, we're going to dive into a decade that was impacted from a number of different sweeping movements through civil rights, music, clothing, formalities, and more. The States were dealing with the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement, and the emerging generation gap, while in Europe there was an economic boom happening in the Western, and it was divided by the Berlin Wall. Called also the cultural decade and the swinging 60s, today we're going to dive into the men's fashion of the 1960s. This decade is usually remembered for the counterculture, flower power, but was also an unstable period for the US that started with the optimistic and materialistic sentiment of the 1950s but quickly went into a revolution. The US had 4 different presidents, including JFK, that was killed in 1963, that shocked the entire nation and the world. There was also the civil rights movement that was started from the Afro-American community, led by Martin Luther King as the leader, with the objective of getting more rights and ending discrimination against the Afro-American community. Young people started to revolt against the norms of the conservative rules and the mainstream. The youth involved into this social revolution are called hippies, and their focus was sexual freedom, more rights for women and other minorities, anti-war, and the questioning of the government. This movement was marked from the use of LSD and Mary J with psychedelic music. In 1969, the first humans landed on the moon, and in music, the rock and roll movement died in 1959 and was replaced from surf music, teen pop, and Motown music. In the middle of the 1960s, the British invasion came to dominate the music charts with acts like Beatles that started the beatlemania craze. Men's fashion reflected this change. At first, the fashion scene was still pretty similar to the previous decade. Then, in the middle of the decade, it started to change and adopt new styles, thanks to the youth. From the tailored and conservative style of the 50s, men's fashion will adopt more eclectic and bold styles in the years following. With the phenomenon of the British invasion, UK style becomes more popular and jumps across the pond to reach USA and make an impact in men's fashion. The suit will start its decline as a menswear staple, and casual fashion will become more common. There is more emphasis on personal expression through clothing. In the early 1960s, the fashion from the 50s was still very influential, with straight-cut suits and structured silhouettes. Suits became more slim-fitting with the narrow trousers. Most clothing became tighter, and the 3-piece suit was fading. Gray was the main color for suits in this era and was embraced from the Ivy/Continental style. Pants are worn lower with a single pleat, and suits have narrow lapels. Suits are paired with narrow collared shirts and thin ties. The matching blazer and pants of the same color combo was for the office attire. Ivy League was a major influence for casual fashion in the early 1960s, with sports coats and pants with a more bold color with the vest or sweater vest, like red or yellow as color choices. While a dark vest was usually paired with a lighter jacket. Dress shirts from plain colors in the early 60s went to adopt more vibrant and bold colors in the late 60s. The tie got an alternative in the late 1960s that was the neckerchief, worn under a dress shirt around the neck. Thanks to the rise of thrifting in the late 60s, suits became more diverse, with older styles being included. In this period, mods emerged thanks to the youth in the UK. Mod comes from the word modernist, and this subculture started in the late 50s in Great Britain. A mod is made by their tailor-made suits, modern jazz as their music choice, and motor scooters like Lambretta or Vespa. They became part of the swinging London when mod fashion was spread also to other countries. Italian fashion was a major inspo for mods that wore clothes that were made from Italian designers. London became a major fashion city, and style became more important for men's fashion with the increase of clothing choices. The laid-back surfer style comes from the coastal areas like California, and it became trendy in the late 60s. It was noticeable in men's swimwear, with the matching cabana set made by trunks and a camp shirt or t-shirt, board shirts, graphic tees, Hawaiian shirts, sunnies, Wayfarer sunglasses. Psychedelic and geometric motifs invaded shirts in the middle of the 1960s, and contrasting colors and French cuffs were popular among the youth. Sweaters in the early 1960s were still pretty conservative and worn with dress shirts with colors like navy and burgundy, but when mods fashion became popular, sweaters adopted more bold colors and playful patterns. During this period, brands like Missoni and Gino Paello introduced new knitting techniques and cable knits. Cardigans add patterns like chevron stripes, geometric, and fabrics like mohair were trendy. From the mid into the late 60s, Duende Edwardian style became more popular with men's style, having more soft details like frills and embellishments. This was the Peacock Revolution that took place especially in UK, with men incorporating more feminine elements in their style, like floral prints, bright colors, ethnic fashion, the late 18th century influence, and queer fashion. Nehru jackets, frilly shirts, and keepy ties were some of the main elements of this style, with acts like the Beatles and Rolling Stones embracing this style in their outfits. I can do a separate video on this topic if you want. In the 60s, ties were pretty slim and plain at the start of the 60s, and then they became more wider and bolder with psychedelic and geometric patterns. Belts became more decorative, and suspenders faded away. In the late 60s, hippies clothing saw a rise, especially in 1967, when major protests and gatherings were happening in the US. Hippies were known for being against fast fashion and shopping at thrift stores. Their style is a mix of ethnic, Western, and gender-bending clothing, with the main focus being on recycling and DIYing their clothes with embroidery, patches, and beads. Psychedelic patterns were also included in their style, and mixing vintage clothing was common. Elements from African, Middle Eastern, and Native American clothing. I'll also do a video on this topic too. Overcoats and jackets in the 1960s remained similar to the 1950s in the first part of the decade. Knee-length coats were popular and shorter coats were in. Trench coats that were slimmer and boxy mock coats were also common to wear at this time. The Sherpa coat and quilted jacket were casual alternatives. The main shoes of the 1960s were the slip-on loafers that became pretty popular because of their style and easy wearability. Then penny loafers and moccasins were loved by the Ivy League people, and chukka boots were also another popular option. Hats in this period we have a decline, especially among the youth that preferred the look of combed hair that was promoted even from figures like JFK. The older generation kept wearing hats, and hats had narrow brims to reflect the style of the decade. fedoras and trilbies were worn, and a new hat became popular, the mariner's cap, that started its rise in the 50s with Marlon Brando in The Wild One wearing it. It became the symbol of rebellion and worn from the youth. Baker boy cap was also very trendy, and other head accessories like bandanas, scarves, and headbands are seen. So guys, after the history, the culture, and the men's fashion in the 1960s, I'm going to show you my inspired outfits from this decade, and I have a confession to make, honestly. I have to get this out of the way. So when I think about vintage men's fashion, this is a decade that never comes to my mind, like never. To me, like the 60s are blank in my mind, and I don't know why. I don't think I hate them per se, because usually I had this love and hate relationship with the 70s fashion when I started my vintage journey, and but right now I appreciate the 70s fashion even more. But for the 60s fashion, I don't know what's wrong with me, but me and 60s maybe are not friends. I don't know what's happening, but to me it's blank. And actually, with making this video, now I know more about 60s fashion and it's not blank anymore in my mind, like hallelujah. But other than that, I don't know if I hate them or I love them. It's like, to me, they are 50-50 maybe, I don't know. Because even for my outfits, I don't take a lot of inspiration from the 60s, but I have to give the 60s their flowers. Like flower power, yes, I have to give them their flowers, because I think 60s fashion is a little bit underrated. Maybe it's even more underrated than the 70s fashion. In these recent years, we saw a lot of 70s trends coming up. We have to give the 60s fashion its flowers, because from this decade on, like, style will be a main tool for personal expression. There is more freedom in style choices also for men's fashion, so the 60s deserve their love. In my day-to-day, I never take inspiration from 60s fashion. I don't know if it fits like my outfits and my style, like, because I never tried it before, so to me this is really new, and I'm not mad about it. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. Actually, I had like this jacket that I think is a Nehru coat probably, and I took it from the thrift store near my town, and now that I'm styling it, like, actually it's not that bad. I love it. I love the silhouette and the structure of this coat, because it's very 60s, and I don't know, maybe I should try it more. But yeah, the 60s fashion now is like more than 50-50, let's say. The icons that you should follow to be 60s for me, from what I saw on the internet and through videos, pictures, and videos, to me are the Beatles with their beatlemania in the 60s. Like, if you see their outfits, they always slap, like one after another, another after another. I think my favorite period of the Beatles is when they were wearing all these mod suits with the ties. Like, they were perfect. Like, the styling was on point. Like, the game was on, guys. The game was on. Okay, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, because Jimi Hendrix also has a lot of style with his bandanas, his frills, his jacket, his colorful pants. Jimmy can pull off some cool ass outfits, let me tell ya. Steve Mcqueen, yes, the king of cool is back. I already did a video on Steve McQueen style, so I will not go further into it. I will leave it somewhere below or up here. And then the fourth one, did I think of a fourth one? I think so. The fourth one, oh, Rolling Stones. Also Rolling Stones with their peacock inspired outfits from the Dandy Edwardian style. They are so damn cool. And maybe there are other icons too, but let me know in the comments if you like 60s fashion, which other icons you should follow. And now I will show you my 4 different inspired outfits from this decade. So guys, this is my first inspired look from this decade. This is very casual 1960s outfit, mid 1960s. So I'm wearing my patent sport coat that is from the brand Kodemar. Then my thrifted vest is from the brand Bino Bini. My button down shirt is from the brand Murphy. And also I have my pants that are from the brand Canali. I'm wearing my Covery World hat with my aviator sunglasses. and my boots that are from my father, the leather boots. And this is very casual. I try to stick with the 60s colors, so the red and this like green, pea green, and also the pattern of the sport coat is very casual. And this look ain't bad at all, ain't bad, I like it. Oh, I forgot, also I have the tie from the brand Gol, and those are mostly Italian brands. It's all thrifted, and yes, I like this outfit. It's very 60s in my opinion. So for this second look, I was inspired from the preppy Ivy League style of the early 60s, and I'm wearing this thrifted sweater that I took it in Ancona at the flea market. It's from the brand Sunbeam, and I took it I think 4 years ago. And then I'm wearing also my button-down shirt with my thrifted tie, my thrifted jeans that have this cut like at the ankle cut jeans, and also I'm wearing my yellow bright socks that I got at the flea market in my hometown pretty recently with my Rockport loafers. This is very preppy. I was inspired from JFK, John F. Kennedy style, and also from other pictures from the Ivy League style in the US and in Japan. The V-neck sweater was really trendy at this time, so it's perfect for your preppy style. Flower power. This is my third look. It's inspired from the hippie culture from the 1960s, the late 1960s. So this is the outfit that I was most afraid of, because I know that in the hippie culture there's also the stereotype of the carnival costume, so I want to be as faithful as possible. So for this hippie look, I'm wearing my bandana that I took at the thrift store too, I think last year, with my thrifted button-down shirt, this striped button-down shirt, with my sweat vest that I had for years now, I think like 7 or 8 years, and it's thrifted, and also my thrifted corduroy pants that I got at the thrift store last year. And also no shoes, because no shoes, so I'm wearing my socks and that's it. And yes, this is very earthy, like you see all the earthy tones with the brown is the focus of this outfit. And also I'm wearing this necklace, and my sign is Taurus, as you can see from the necklace I have. I took it in Nigeria I think 2 years ago. So for this last look, I was feeling like a Beatle from the Beatles, and this is very mod. I took this Nehru jacket I think this year, but I never tried it before, but now that I have it on, it's so cool. I love the structure, and also the color of this jacket is very nice. And I'm wearing also my aviator sunglasses on top with my straight pants, and as shoes, I am quite disappointed because I needed a black boot, a black slip-on boot, Chelsea boot, or whatever. But the only thing that I had was the leather boots, my brown leather boots. So I got that to finish the look, but I'm quite disappointed actually, because it doesn't mesh well with the overall outfit. But yeah, those were all my outfits, and I will do separate videos for the subcultures of the 60s, because I didn't do a video on the hippies and the rockers, and maybe the mods I will do an updated version about it. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you will know when I will put my next video, guys. So I think this will be one of my last videos for the year and the last video before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to every one of y'all. Have a good time, chill, stay with your family, with your friends, whoever, like just have a good Christmas. And we'll see y'all on the next video. That will be my last one. And this one is a big one, guys, because it's a new topic that I never did before. And actually, I addressed it in some of my previous videos, probably. And it's something I also have in my head. Okay, I will not spoil anything, but yeah, we'll deep dive into this topic and see a dilemma. And yes, I will see y'all on the next video, my fellas.